Welcome to the Photo Diaries Podcast. I'm your host, Grace Koster, a photographer of over 2 decades and a business and marketing mentor for commercial photographers. If you're looking to build a booked out business and become an in-demand photographer who is respected and valued, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me today. Let's open the latest diary. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the Photographers Only membership, a monthly business membership. To find out more, head straight to the show notes. So, do you ever get stuck when you're on a photo shoot? I bet many of us do. And absolutely, it's so natural for us to, run out of ideas, get stuck on what to do next, because the pressure is on, and it's on us to perform, to come up with the ideas fast. A lot of us actually feel like we're rushing through photo shoots, and I hear this a lot from my photographers, and I used to rush as well. I totally get it. You feel pressure because the client's waiting for you and they've paid all this money and they just expect so much. But I've found really great strategies to avoid feeling stuck on a photo shoot and also avoid feeling rushed. So let me run you through them. First of all, I used to shoot family portraits many years ago. It was a thing I did as a side hustle, and I often would sort of overthink it the night before, a few nights before, just really trying to memorize some poses and to have a plan in my head of how I was going to pose this family. I'd think about the location a lot. I'd think about how can I use the location, the trees, the environment, and things like that. And the little trick I used to do, aside from, scouring Pinterest for ages and just trying to save everything in a Pinterest board, what I actually did that worked well was I'd just grab a sheet of A4 paper. I'd put like 6 boxes on there, and I would just draw a box, and then I'd draw, if it was a family of 3, I'd draw out my compositions and my plan. So I just put a head with a triangular body for the dad, head and a triangular body for the mum, and then a head and a small triangle body for the baby or the kid. And I just draw that form in all the boxes in different compositions. So it'd be like a close-up where it was just the circles and just head and shoulders, and then one of them walking together, holding the baby, like the mum's holding the baby on her hip, the dad's holding the mum's hand, and I'd just draw that out. And so I'd have about 6 boxes just of little basic drawings that could jog my memory while I was on the shoot. And over time, just the simple act of drawing was enough for it to be implanted in my brain, so that when I was on the shoot, I never had to pull out that piece of paper, which is really remarkable. And, you hear this all the time, that when you take notes, you remember things more, whether it's from a class or whatever. And so I used to do this, put it in my camera bag, and I'd pull it out if I needed to, just when I was first starting out. And then over time, I just felt safe knowing that the ideas were there. And because it took, I'd been doing portraiture for so many years, all those sort of generic and standard poses were embedded in my mind. And if you're a family photographer listening to this, you'll have your standard poses that you go to. You'll do the close-up horizontal. You'll do the, facing together vertical. You'll do the walking shot horizontal, things like that. And you'll just repeat them with every single client. And that's a formula that you can trust, because you've built that process, and you've built, your top 6 poses. So have your ideas in your pocket, draw them out. That's one simple thing you can do. You can also, if you just don't want to do it this way, you can also just write one sentence to jog your memory. You can put it on a piece of paper in your pocket and be like, right, close up, baby on her own, mum and baby, dad and baby, blah, blah, blah. So you just write that down, dot, point, and it'll jog your memory. Now, one major thing that a lot of photographers come across, especially in your first 5 years of photo shoots, my first 5 years working with clients, is you feel the pressure to do things quickly. And this doesn't get you good results. You make mistakes when you feel the pressure to do things fast. So I want you to learn to slow yourself down. Now, the way you can learn to slow yourself down on a photo shoot is to communicate what you need to your client. So what this looks like is, hey, say you've done a few shots. Then you're like, all right, guys, just give me one moment. I need to jog my memory for the ideas I've wrote down for us. So you go into your pocket, you look at your sheet, and then, put it away. Just simply communicating what you're doing and what you need from the client is you need them to give you a minute so that you can jog your memory. That will automatically give you the permission to slow down. Slow down, get what you need, then take more photos. If you're doing a pose or you've asked the clients, the family or whomever to do a pose, but you don't like it or the lighting looks awful, don't be afraid to actually say, no good, the light looks awful here, let's move to this location. And then adjust it. Or if it's if you've put the composition together and you've put all, say it's a family of 5 and you've put him here, him there, she there, blah, 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 you've arranged it all, you look through the camera and you can see things aren't quite right. Instead of being lazy and just taking the photo anyway and just thinking, that will do, take a moment, communicate. It's not quite right. I think we can do better. Let me just, sir, can you move here? Ma'am, move here. Or call them by name, whatever you like to do. Sarah, move here. John, move here. And they will appreciate that you communicated that you're going to shift something around. You're going to make adjustments to improve it so that they get an amazing image. So it's these little things, by communicating, saying you want to stop, saying you want to change something. Let them know you need to take a minute to jog your ideas. Let them know you're just changing the lens. Let them know that they have 2 minutes to rest and chat with one another while you take a sip of water. Whatever you need, you should be able to communicate this with people, no matter what your client is, whether it's a family client, a corporate client, headshot client, a wedding couple, no matter what. And over time, the longer you've been a photographer working with clients, this will just become second nature. You won't even think about it, and you won't become rushed anymore, because you will start to realize that you are the one calling the shots. You're the one in control of this entire thing. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that, especially when you're photographing families or weddings. It feels like you're not in control and the whole environment is controlling you. But as much as possible, I would like you to put yourself in the leadership position and act like you are in control and you are calling the shots. You say when they move. You tell them when you need a break. You tell them when they get to have a break. You conduct every little piece of the puzzle. And this will actually instill confidence in your client, because they start to see the way you work. They start to appreciate that you are communicating everything along the way. They'll appreciate that you're keeping them safe by feeling like, they know you're taking what you need. They'll feel they just feel like you're taking charge, and it makes you look good. It makes you look like you know what you're doing. They've paid a professional, not somebody who's floundering, fluffing about, not communicating, and really unsure of who they are on this photo shoot. And then if nobody knows what they're doing, nobody's in charge, it's a mess. Your shots end up looking like rubbish because it was not conducted in a professional way. So there are lots of pitfalls when you don't start to communicate, when you don't slow down on a shoot, and when you don't have a foolproof method to get you unstuck in the moment. So even if you are a corporate photographer and you know you've got to do a law firm's group photos, I need to know how many people are in that group. Okay, there's 14. Okay, you better be sure I'm going to be drawing out on my pen and paper 14, headshots, and like, how does this look in a group? what kind of compositions can I make with 14 people? Then they want smaller groups of 5. Okay, what are my compositions going to look like there? Just drawing the little round heads, little head and shoulders, so that I can see the arrangement I'm going to make on the day. I show up confident because I've got a plan and I'm going to execute it. So corporate families, compositions are very important in family portrait photography. I recently did a portfolio review for one of my photographers only members, and she was so bashful about her family portraiture. But when I saw the portfolio, I was stunned. Her work was so good, but she hadn't really shown anyone except the clients. And I couldn't really understand why she'd been hiding it when the work was actually quite a high standard. But her composition naturally was good. She, was always looking for the triangle, because in big groups, we're looking for a triangle. Her triangles were mostly good. Her compositions of 4 or 5 people or 6 people, all the families she showed me, were really tight, really interesting compositions. They made sense. But then there was also little tweaks that I pulled out from her family portraiture. And some of those things were in a composition. Sometimes you let the family do what comes naturally. So you let them cuddle or you let them just cluster together. Take a few shots like that so that they feel like they haven't done anything wrong. Let them sit there. Let them just be themselves. Take those shots. Now say to them, right, that's beautiful. Now let me try a different composition. Let me try different arrangement. You go here, blah, blah, blah. Tidy up the composition. Make it what you want. And when you're doing a composition, something that I saw a lot recently in these portfolio reviews was, even though you want a tight composition, if you're putting somebody in the back of a composition, so say it's 2 brothers and a sister, what I saw in this particular portfolio, the sister was positioned behind and the 2 boys were crowding her at the front. So you couldn't see half her body. And I said to this photographer, just what you can do next time in a situation like this, instead of the 2 people at the front, which were the brothers in this instance, instead of them crowding her and making her look like a second thought, because she's at the back, she's kind of hidden and she doesn't get the space that she needs, ask the boys to separate themselves a little bit, move apart so that we can bring the sister forward and show more of her body. Even though the composition is layered with 2 at the front, 1 at the back, the person at the back shouldn't be hidden so much. They need to have parted at the front so that the person in the back gets her body shown. And it equalizes all of them, so she doesn't look less important. So when it comes to compositions like that on a shoot, it's about communicating that you need to fix this up. It's looking good, but let's make it great. And I often say that to a client. I'll say, oh, this looks good, but I'm just going to make it great and I'm going to tweak it. Do you mind? And they're like, oh, no, go for it. So I'm still, even after 25 years, saying these things because it makes them know what's going on. It makes them trust the process that, she's got it covered. And they don't know what things look like. You have to be their eyes. And you need to be the voice of communication in this instance. So those sorts of things will help you get unstuck. Start doing it and see if it makes a big difference to your workflow on a set. And I hope it does. So I don't know where that episode came from. It just totally came out of the blue, but I hope it helps somebody. Because just doing those little ideas on a piece of paper folded up in my pocket was a lifesaver. And I just think it's an easy thing to put your mind at rest when you're on a shoot. And secondly, the communication skills is the number one thing you need to master as a photographer, no matter how long you've been doing it. It's the communication skills that will get you 5-star reviews, get you return clients, get you referrals, get you a great result and a happy customer. Because without communication, people don't feel safe with you. People don't feel safe that they're going to get a result, and people they'll question you. So anyway, hope that was helpful. Don't forget to head to the show notes for the Photographers Only membership. If you have any questions around it, please ask me. There is also a podcast episode you can listen to about the membership inside look. But I'm taking new members, so please reach out on Instagram or on email. And also sign up to the mailing list so you can find out all the invitations to special events and workshops and resources that I have for you, all photographers. Okay, guys, hope you have a great week ahead. I know it's school holidays soon, so yeah, hope you have lots of fun. All right, catch you on the next one. That's it for today's episode. If you found it valuable, I invite you to leave a review so more people can find this podcast, or simply subscribe to be notified when each new episode drops. Until next time, see you later.